Hello and welcome back to the Hearthstone Alphabet Basic League, where letter-themed decks are going head-to-head for the ultimate prestige, winning. In today's game, the Paladin H deck will be going up against the Mage's L deck. Moving over to the deck lists, the Paladin H deck is going to want to really rely on those handle protections to protect its minions from the AoE and spells that the Mage has. The Mage deck being, as we saw in its previous games, a very strong deck with a lot of spells, a lot of removal tools, and some heavy minions to boot. With that said, let's get into the games. Okay, so game number 1. The Paladin's hand looking very mid-game to late-game heavy. No early game to speak of. Draws a Core Hound, that's not going to help. The Mage has a much lower curve. It's going to be able to get a couple of minions down, and then has the answers for the first couple of big minions that comes down. Don't think you want to spend a polymorph for a shield master though, as there are much bigger threats in the deck. Maybe a Dalaran Mage with a Frostbolt and then a ping will deal with it. Draws another answer in the Fireball. The Dalaran Mage coming down makes short work of all the dudes on the board, or the will be on the board. 4 for 1, that very good value, but a less value against a Sen'jin Shield Master. As I said, this is quite an easy Frostbolt ping turn, and then the Dalaran Mage can even get the dude. Very clean for the Mage. Oh, looks like it's going to go into it though. Well, that's a misplay. The Dalaran Mage has taken 2 extra damage that was not necessary there. Who is this player? Why do they hate this Dalaran Mage? Anyway, moving on. Got a little bit of card draw in the hand now. Won't be an important just yet, but will definitely be relevant later. The Paladin doesn't seem too at risk of running out of cards to play for a while. Seems as if he can only play 1 card a turn at the moment. And with that hand will be the situation for the foreseeable future. Gets the Humility, chooses to play on the Yeti. It does keep the Sen'jin Shield Master alive, which keeps the Paladin in firm control of the board, so that's fair enough. Water Elementals will be quite difficult to deal with. They always are for weapon swinging classes. This particular one though may not be quite a problem because you've got the Sen'jin. You can then swing at it and you don't have any other weapons that you want to play, so being frozen isn't a big deal. Don't think you humility it. If you do both those, the Sen'jin and the swing, and then you've got enough mana for... It's like you're thinking about playing the Gurubashi. I was going to say just Lord of the Arena. Fill out that curve. Well, I guess the Paladin sees the Gurubashi as the more threatening target. More likely to survive perhaps, because of the 7 health compared to the 5. It's not going to survive against anything because you've got ping as well. The Mage can deal with anything that the Paladin puts down with a Fireball and a ping. The Core Hound being particularly vulnerable, with only that measly 5 HP. What you usually want to do is put a little taunt in the way of your Core Hound, so you know, it always gets at least 1 swing in, but that's irrelevant with the Mage who's just got spells to go straight at it. Yeah, gotta be polymorph. I like to view the Reckless Rocketeer as a removal tool as well as a minion, like very versatile, because it usually does go into a minion and then dies. So it's basically like a bad Fireball. Using the Humility on the Water Elemental, interesting. Not completely sure I agree with that. There are surely minions with higher damage that you want to do that with. But I guess he's just really trying to keep this Stormwind champion alive, just in case it's like a Frostbolt or something in the Mage's hand. We are going to see the Reckless Rocketeer instead. And he's at the Arcane Explosion. So So yeah, the humility I don't think really changed the outcome there. I think they were both going to die anyway. But does make this Core Hound tricky to deal with. The Water Elemental may just suicide into it just to freeze it and give the mage a little bit more time to spare. Probably going to play both Arcane Intellects this turn. Get 4 brand new cards, crazy card draw, and draws the answer. That's quite unlucky for the Paladin. The Light's Justice in this hand isn't going to be helpful at all. The mage doesn't have any 1 health minions. That's a good draw off the top. So yeah, the Light's Justice is probably just going to be a 1 mana 4 damage to face, which is quite nice in itself. You can really see how those Arcane Intellects have swung the game around. The Paladin has pretty much like 3 dead cards in the hand, and the Mage has 4 very playable ones. Possibly going to use that Hand of Protection to keep it alive, well, give it a chance against this Boulder Fist, but not looking good. You don't really want to swing at the Boulder Fist because that's just going to be too much damage. Although the 2 Holy Lights, you know, gotta make up for that. I think there is a case there for doing that, just because it's the only way to get ball control back. Like, I'm shocked at how powerful those Arcane Intellects were, damn. The Mage looking, after this turn, to be in a very strong situation. What can the Paladin draw? Razorfen Hunter isn't going to change this board around. I think if he had drawn the second True Silver, that could have been pretty big. But no. The Arcane Missiles is going to deal with that quite nicely. You could even play both Kobolds and get a really strong Arcane Missiles, but chooses not to do that. I think gets punished for it because now you got to use the ping. Still gets the Boulder Fist down. Stormwind Champion to contest that, but doesn't trade well with it, does it? Because the Boulder Fist has 1 extra health. That is unfortunate. And of course, when the Stormwind Champion dies, that 2/2 goes back to a 1/1. Reckless Rocketeer, number 2. It's very good timing. I think it's going to deal with that Stormwind Champion. Sends, yeah, whoops. Sends the wrong target at the dude. Wanted to use the Nightblade, but used the Boulder Fist instead. Never mind. Missing out on 2 damage to face. Here comes the True Silver. Don't think it's enough to turn this game around though. Thinking about swinging into the Boulder Fist just so he can get it off the board next turn, or maybe it's forced to trade with something next turn. I'm not quite sure. As I said, using those Holy Lights to heal the face damage it inflicted. And with the True Silver, that's 14 health. Gives the Paladin an extra turn to hold on. But no, it's not looking good. Those dudes just aren't effective against the Mage because of the hero powers, how they line up. Everything's on the board from the Mage. The Mage is all in. I don't think there's anything. There's no consecration in the deck, so yeah, Cleric will not be enough. Looks like the Mage is going to take game number 1. Okay, game number 2. Paladin's hand still quite mid-game heavy, but has the Light's Justice to help contest the board in the early game. Maybe deal with a Kobold over 2 turns. The Mage starts with a very... Is that the same hand as it started with last game? It's very similar. Getting quite lucky in the mulligans there, it seems. Draws the Nightblade. Here we're going to see the Kobold come down. Ready to Frostbolt anything that comes down, such as a coined Razorfen. I think you just go for a dude though, yeah. Probably going to get... no, I don't think it's going to... I think you're going to get Cleric, the Kobold, and then it's going to trade nicely with dude. Nicely done. Mage, surely... The Light's Justice doing some good work there. That's what it's there for, and coining out Ascension. Very nice. I think it will be Frostbolted. Going to say you could risk it and play the Arcane Missiles, and the Mage is going to do that. What does he? Nope. Yep. Ooh. Cheeky bit of emoting from the Mage. Chooses not to send the Cleric in, probably because it's frozen, so no need. Paladin thing about True Silver in the Cleric. But I think this Ascension is dead next turn either way, so yeah, second Shieldmaster is the way to go. It's going to be difficult for the Mage to deal with. It hasn't drawn its answers like it did in the previous game. Dalaran Mage, it's not going to cut it. Although, no, yeah, play with Dalaran Mage, and Arcane Explosion for 2/2, very nice. The Mage is back in this, but the cards in his hand aren't looking too healthy compared to the Paladins, who has a bit of a powerhouse for the next couple of turns. The Gurabashi, the Storm Champion, a True Silver. Does draw one of the answers finally. I think we're going to see that this turn. It's going to use its whole turn to deal with that though. Chooses to ping instead of playing the Kobold, which second Gurabashi though. And another answer. Paladin getting kind of unlucky here. It's like and with the spell power, oh yeah, Paladin getting a bit destroyed by the top decks. Mage hanging on by a thread. Let's see if its luck can continue. I think you just play the Storm Champion, yeah. That Nightblade is prime real estate for that True Silver. Is that another answer? Amazing. With the spell power, it is a perfect answer. I mean, it takes the whole turn, but you know, considering. And suddenly every single large threat the Paladin has been dealt with in a series of 3 top decks. Unbelievable. Paladin run out of patience with that Dalaran Mage, gonna True Silver it. Think about time. We will see the Nightblade this turn. Yep. The Mage really needs to draw some Arcane Intellects, otherwise the Paladin is going to snowball from this point, because it's going to overclear that for no mana essentially. Put down the Lord of the Arena and the Razorfen, creates a nice wide board. There are 2 Flame Strikes in the Mage's deck though. Now would be, if it's going to top deck anything, now would be the time for the Flame Strike. No, that's not it. Unfortunately. Just maybe hold on to it. Yeah, I mean you could play just to soak up a little bit of damage. Slow this down, but no. Paladin draws into another card it can play, which is quite nice. And it's going to be able to do, creating a very wide board. The only answer now to this board is Flame Strike. Paladin's using everything he's got now to finish the game off as soon as possible. Giving the Lord Arena 10 damage, huge. It will have lethal next turn. This is it. That's not going to cut it. That was not Flame Strike, that's a Bolt of this Ogre. That was a very quick game. A lot of luck but the Paladin's aggression paid off and takes game number 2. Okay, game number 3, the deciding game in this quarterfinals. The Paladin's hand not looking amazing here. You don't want to keep the buffs. You don't really want that either. I mean, I say that because the Hammer of Wrath doesn't kill many things by itself, so you need other minions on the board. The Mage's hand being very mid-rangey, 3/4 drops, but that could be quite difficult for the Paladin to deal with. The Hand of Protection could be important to help that Senjin Shieldmaster trade really nicely with a Chill and Yeti or something. But yeah, the Mage's early game being very weak. Paladin draws this second Hammer of Wrath. You're gonna have to play a naked cleric just to get something on the board, I think. Because if you try and save it for the Senjin Shieldmaster, the Senjin Shieldmaster is just gonna get removed with spells. So the Mage did have a slow start, but the Paladin has not been able to capitalise on that. Which means I think this is now gonna slowly steer into the Mage's game. That is a nice draw, it's going to help it. Opting to go for the card draw instead, just so it has more options for the following turns. I think that's fair enough. True Silver Champion doesn't deal with these minions though. And that's a well-timed water elemental given the fact he has True Silver Champion. I think we may see a Tazdingo here with a Hand of Protection. The Paladin might even go all in and give it a Blessing of Might, but then it's just going to get polymorphed. Nope, doesn't do that. It's probably for the best. It's like I'm suggesting a play that the Paladin will definitely lose to. But now the Mage is going to be able to keep that Paladin locked down. I'm not sure the Paladin has any kind of charge. Oh no, he's going to be able to unfreeze himself eventually because of the Hammer of Wrath. He's going to be able to kill that water elemental. Yeah. The Hammer of Wrath being so expensive. Using the humility to essentially slow down the Mage's attack because the Paladin just doesn't have enough mana to play anything else. Double Chill Wind. The Mage going wide. It's not worried about any kind of consecrations or any kind of AoE effects. I think a Senjin buffed up with a cleric's quite a nice play. Shame you're missing 1 mana. The Hand of Protection on top of that would be huge, but not possible this turn. So our True Silver just isn't great against Yetis. You need something else like an axe with a skull in the middle. Using the second humility to do everything it can to keep this Senjin alive. Because the Paladin's spent the Hand of Protection, I think this is worth polymorph. Definitely. Yeah, there we go. Not loads of damage on the board though, like only 4. So this game is not just over yet, but it's not the damage, it's the dealing with the health on the board that the Paladin's going to really struggle with. Finally chooses to swing at the Kobold because it's the only thing he can kill. It's got to be done. The Mage drawing the Nightblade, finding a bit more damage on the board if it's played. Chooses to go for a spell heavy turn perhaps? Yeah, that Dano Mage has been pretty fantastic in this series. Paladin draws a completely useless weapon. Just yeah, I think the Paladin is looking in a very poor spot. It's not going to be able to turn this around. Has spent both its card draws, so now it's top decking answers, which isn't going to end well. He's investing in the cleric in terms of just giving it just some attack. I think that was a BM emote there, because the Paladin played it straight into. Oh my god, the BM. We saw a whoops there, but pinging his own minion. So yeah, so the Paladin plays straight into an Arcane Explosion, which then got emoted, and then the Mage played the Nightblade, pinged itself, and then got a second whoops. Suspicious play. Could have been. I do believe the Mage is playing on a laptop. I do kind of know that. So, you know, these things can happen. But it's, you know, it's curious. Mage completely ignoring the Core Hound, paying it no respect. Even given the Arcane Intellect. May even draw lethal. Yeah, would have had lethal this turn if... So not only is the Mage going to win, but the Mage played absolutely crap this game. But this is Hearthstone, there is no justice. The victory goes to the Mage, who takes the game, takes the series. A quick look at the leaderboard. The Mage will go on to play the powerful Warrior E-Deck in the semi-finals. Our next game, however, will be the N versus O, Rogue versus Priest. Thank you for watching, stay tuned.